A lot of agent talk. That's going to be the thumbnail.
Absolutely, me doing the dance.
Hey, Matt.
Hey,
SharePoint Agents was also announced this last week. That sounds like a movie. SharePoint Agent, a secret agent. Matt, what are SharePoint Agents?
all right. So as everyone probably knows now, Copilot has been released, and when we call we used to be calling it a bot, but back in the good old days, Copilot Studio was called Power Virtual Agents, and those were all agents, and they're just bringing back that particular name. Those of us in the AI world don't really like that very much because we have another name for agent that means something completely different. But it's good for Microsoft to have it out here as being it's a bot, and SharePoint agents are specific agents that you can deploy directly into SharePoint on your SharePoint data.
So we talked a little bit about SharePoint Advanced Management in a different session, and
Yep.
when I think about the idea behind that, it's governance and control.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about that, both on this is great because we can share it, but also from a security and governance standpoint.
Right.
Do we want to share this stuff?
Yeah. So what happens is SharePoint Advanced Management and your regular SharePoint security makes sure that this kind of thing is locked down to the security that's allowed within that library and in that site. So what we'll see here when we go into our quick little demo is that these agents are created as files within the library. So if you have a SharePoint Advanced Management policy around a particular group, then it applies to that agent as well. I can't share that agent out to anybody who isn't within that policy range. And the same thing goes with your normal SharePoint security. If you're not sharing anything out, only the people that have the rights to that particular library are going to have the ability to see that agent and use that agent.
Now, if I can take a little agency with all this agent talk, I'm getting a little overloaded with agents and copilots. There's a lot of things, and it's hard to track what is the copilot agent where. So what is this different?
Yeah.
How is this different than a lot of the other copilots and that have been released?
Yeah, good question, because Microsoft has not done us a whole lot of advantages here with their naming convention. And you can think of an agent as just a copilot that has been deployed. All right. When you really break it down, this SharePoint agent is nothing more than something that has been grounded specifically focused on pulled in data from this particular SharePoint site or these SharePoint files. I can create other agents in Copilot Studio that are much more complex. And those kind of things, again, we call them agents because they are, if you take my example before, they are individualized bots. So I can do much more in Copilot Studio to create a more complex agent. Now, finally, you have the actual copilots that sit on top of everything else. So you think of Copilot from Microsoft 365, that is going to be an agent, if you will, that sits on top of your entire Microsoft 365 deployment. The ones that we're creating here inside of SharePoint are very specific. They're grouped upon the individualized files, folders, or libraries that you have selected. So when you think of Copilot from Microsoft 365 sitting on everything, it's everything in Microsoft 365. These Copilot agents, these SharePoint Copilot agents, are really small ones that are focused on just a little bit of data.
Can you show it to me?
Yeah, absolutely, we can show it to you. So
I would love to see it.
all right, so here we go. This is a contracts demo that we have. And we have some files in here. We've got a contract for acting services. We have some strongman contract and that kind of things going on in this particular environment. So if you can imagine this as maybe a policies library or something like that, in this case, it's a contract library. So we're going to ask it about the contracts. I want to know about these contracts. I want to know who's involved. I want to know their expirations. I want to know all that stuff. What I can do here very, very quickly is you see a new button has appeared, and it says create an agent. and it's very easy to use. I just click on it, and now it's ready.
That's it.
And that's it. The fun part of this is you see this folder here. It says contracts extraction, and what that is, if you look back on the gray part here, that is our library. Because we have created this in our root library folder, it's going to encompass everything that's in that library. Now I can, if I go ahead and exit this, we're going to cancel this out. Here we go. Yes, I want to cancel. If I go into this Copilot folder, and I don't have anything in here, but just as an example, and I click my create an agent, you'll see here it's for the Copilot folder. So you can scope these to individual folders in your environment. Now, not only that, I can scope these to individual files. So when I have an agent and I deploy it to a folder, I can go ahead and drop more files in there, and those will be picked up by the agent once they're indexed. If I just want to make this agent about a couple of folders, a couple of files, I can check this box, and then I can say create an agent, and you'll see here it limits it just to that, just to those particular files. So that makes it very, very easy and very targeted. So if I'm trying to do, say, a policy style agent, and I just want the newest documents that I have released for, SparkHound's open enrollment or something like that, I can do it very specifically on those documents and have an agent just on those documents. So when I create this, let's do it for the folder. I'm going to say create an agent, and it's going to say, yeah, this one, and it's ready. I can use it right now, or I can go in and edit it. If I edit it, I can give it a different name. I can also give it a description, and even better, I can give it instructions in here. So the purpose of it, I can start to really get in there and talk to, and eventually I'll be able to go into Copilot Studio. But I can go in here and give it instructions on how it's supposed to act. So that gives me a lot more flexibility about what I can do inside of my agent. So I'm going to save this, and we're just going to release it, and it'll take just a second. It's going to open up in my. So this is saved. I can go ahead and close this. You can see it creates a folder, file here, and I can share this file with someone else, so they can use it just the same as I am. So if we go in here now, I've just had a couple of button clicks, and I'm going to ask who has a acting contract. So it'll go into the files that I have created, and it will then respond based upon the question that I have asked. And this is it. This is all I've done. Just a couple of clicks, and I'm ready to go. And here it is. An acting contract is held by Iko Meyer. It's really great. Iko's only 8. That's my daughter. And the agreement was made November 11th, 2024 between Matt's Marker Mansion, that's us, right? That's the company, and Iko Meyer, referred to as the actor in the contract. So it allows me to do that, and I can do even more. This was a very simple question, but let's get hard. Let's get difficult in here. Let's ask it.
Yeah.
What are any vague points in the contract? All right, I can ask it that, and it'll begin to analyze these contracts. It'll begin to analyze this stuff right here from my SharePoint screen here. So here we go. It's going to say, okay, the engagement clause. It's going to have all this stuff here that are vague or I may have problems with, right? So extremely powerful.
Wow.
Just a couple of clicks.
Yeah. And these can be you talk about these can be shared in other places as well,
yes.
Right? Can you explain that in the context of just the M365 ecosystem? Like, so this can be used in Teams, right?
I can deploy it inside of Teams. Yes. If I have the ability here, you still have to have access to the source files. So it's important to note that if I share a Copilot out and I share it with Alex, but Alex doesn't have rights to the actual files themselves, Alex it's not really going to give Alex a whole lot of information. You have to have rights to the base. But yes, I can go in this and I can share this out to just about anyone, right? And I can move this file. I can put it into a Teams link and have people use it inside of Teams however we like. So it's just like any other file. So I can deploy it into Teams by posting it. I can just keep it here and have people use it here in the library. I can take a link to this and put it as a on my homepage. There's lots of different things I can do with this particular agent. Well, how do we share it in Teams? Well, what I did was I copied our little agent and I put the link into Teams, and you can see here this is Alex and my talk. We're talking about our webinar coming up, and that we've got it's going to be a big webinar. We're excited about it, but also I've put our contracts demo right in here, and I can now. How do I use this within Teams? Well, this is part of it. I can tag it at contracts agent. Who do we have a acting contract with? And that's going to go ahead and go to that agent. That agent's going to respond to me, and it'll put it here in the chat. We hope. There it is. There it goes.
Live demos.
There it goes.
It's chatting. I'm not doing anything, and this is crazy too because this is just in, as Matt had shown, a plain chat that we had, right? Yep. And now I can ask questions against it.
There it is. That is cool stuff, right there. So now, not only can I create an agent based upon the documents that I have there, but I can put it out into Teams. I can put it into a Teams folder or Teams chat, and now we can talk with this. So think about you're in a meeting. And you're in your open enrollment meeting, and you have a whole bunch of questions about this. And you know what? I'm the HR person. I really don't want to answer all this because I'm presenting. I can go ahead and deploy this agent inside of that chat and have it respond to people.
Right.
What a great thing.
Right. Yeah, and again, these are just prompts that the agent brought up, right? But to your point about the HR person getting tired of having to answer any questions, this is a prompt. It said create an FAQ. Here you go. Look at that.
Bam. Done.
Pretty darn cool.
Nifty and cool stuff.
So you, in closing, you sent me a note the other day and you said we need to talk about this immediately. And this is super, super powerful and
yeah.
Not to be the one to burst a bubble here, but oftentimes we need to be mindful that some of these things aren't just going to be whiz, boom, bang, impactful right out the box, right? Where do people need to, what sort of prep work needs to be done for this to be humming like you're showing us right now?
So I have small documents in here. And one of the things that Microsoft is working on, they aren't quite there yet, are documents have a lot of data in them, and it's unstructured, but it's also semantic data. We have headings, we have paragraphs that encapsulate ideas, and so on and so forth. When this is indexed, it's indexed as a whole document. There's no what we call chunking. It doesn't break it up in any pieces or parts, and it does a keyword search on everything in that document. So those kind of things can get difficult, especially if you have very large documents. The LLM isn't going to take in all of that information. So you do need to be wary about the size of the documents that you're putting into your library that are going to be used by the Copilot agent. I could have a very large document in there, and it's only going to look at that first megabyte or so of information. It's not going to look at the end. And so that's really the problem that you run into. So there is some prep work that you need to do. If you have great big documents, if they're over 20 megabytes, you probably need to break that up into separate documents so that your Copilot agent will work for you.
Let's not minimize as we wrap though how huge this is, right? And how revolutionary. Like I'm thinking about, onboarding for employees, right, who want to have something. I'm thinking about if there's a project manager who's new to a project, right, and is trying to find quick info. Like where do you see this going? Like just give us like a closing thought here.
Well, you said it. I mean, it's say I have a group of instructions that I need. We have a project team or something like that, and we want to have people get up to speed like that on the project. You can put one of these agents in on all of our project artifacts and have them ask questions of it and be able to get up to speed. Give me a summary of the project so far, and it will go through those documents and let you know what's going on. So things like that. Also, the ability to just very quickly break down information, ask for summaries of documents and things like that to be able to move through them very, very quickly. Most of our information that we have are in documents, and everybody knows that most documents are about 85% filler. Or boilerplate. So let's get through that boilerplate. Let's find the good information really fast, and then query upon it. This is as I said a while ago when ChatGPT came out. The generative AI is going to be the interface for the future. This is where we're at. The future is now. This is awesome.
The future is now. This is awesome. Mic drop. Thank you, Matt.